And welcome back. As we go ahead and continue looking at our code for loops, we're going to introduce another way for us to kind of exit our program, which is that of the exit statement. Now the exit statement is going to be similar to how we use break and continue, except let's just say we want our program to exit if a certain condition has been met. So for example, the user types the word exit and we want to close our application. Well, if we want to close it, we simply need to create an exit statement. In that case, system.exit0. This is going to immediately close a program. Now you might say this is very similar to maybe how we might do a break statement. And it is, because with a break statement though, we have some limitations. It's not going to necessarily terminate our program. A break statement is simply going to exit a loop, whereas a system.exit0 is going to completely terminate a program. It doesn't matter if we're in the middle of a loop or not in the loop, it immediately shuts the program down. And if we come over to Eclipse, we can go ahead and see that exit statement in action. So first thing we're going to see is we have a quick program here that's going to get two numbers to do basic arithmetic. We have a prompt to enter in a command, and you can see we have our very first thing is an if statement that's going to look to see if the word exit is typed. If it is, it's going to terminate the program using system.exit0. Otherwise, we're going to move into this if-else block, and you can see we have add, subtract, multiply, and divide. And we even have a continue statement here in case if we divide by 0. And then in our else statement, you'll see we now have a break. The break, of course, would then exit the loop, and then we would get this statement right here, closing program. Whereas up here, this one says terminating program. So we could have other things happen here after this closing program. For example, I could have another loop, or maybe I have other commands I want to do. Maybe I have an average program or something like that I want to run. But for our demonstration purposes today, this should work. So let's go ahead and run our code. And let's start off first by adding. And let's just go ahead and add 1 and 2. And we get 3, which is great. Let's go ahead and enter another command. Let's go ahead and see our continuing work. So let's go ahead and do divide. And so let's do 1 and 0 because I want to purposely trigger this continue command. And it says we could not divide by 0. Great. And notice it says please enter command, which means it has returned to the top of the loop, which is exactly what this is supposed to do. And so now let's go ahead and try to enter in, let's say, multiply. And let's do 4 and 1. And we get 4. Please enter command. Now, if I put in something that is not valid, I should get to closing program. Or if I put in the word exit, I'll get terminating. So let's go ahead and do exit first. And you can see we get the word terminating program, which means it's now fallen out of the loop. You see our program's no longer running. And let me just go ahead and run this one more time. And I'll just do a quick add here. And then let's go ahead and just put in something that's not valid. So let's just say like try. And notice we get I don't recognize that command, which of course is the else block down here. And then we get system.exit or system.println of closing program. The exit statement only triggers here with the word exit. And that is kind of nice because again, this is stopping the program immediately here. Whereas this break statement still has to execute any code that's outside of this loop. So that's the biggest difference here. Whenever you want to terminate your program immediately, use exit. When you want to exit a loop and still have some code go on afterwards, that is when a break statement will be much more helpful.